Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
So what are you proposing?
It's simple. Kill the Batman. Here's my card.
Hello, St. Louis. St. Louis, St. Louis. I said St. Louis 3 times there to emphasize how much we at Name Pending Podcast like St. Louis.
Hello, Scotland. I'm not even going to say a city because we're just going to go with Scotland because we want to go there.
But it's a city thing, like where we keep talking about cities.
I don't care. I'm ruining it right now in episode 4. I'm going to Scotland.
Luckily, I have probably the greatest St. Louis facts ever.
Okay.
I found these. I can't believe these lasted this long.
I want to know, is it better than your ice cream fact from episode 3?
Yes, it is.
Ice cream fact was good.
No, you're not understanding this. Okay, I'm going to start with the worst one. So, the city is the host to the largest Mardi Gras celebration outside of Orleans.
Oh, outside of Orleans.
New Orleans.
Literally about to ask you.
Yeah, of course. New Orleans had the biggest Mardi Gras.
Okay.
But who's ever heard of St. Louis Mardi Gras? But apparently it's the second biggest. Now, that might mean it might be 2 people in a room celebrating Mardi Gras because everybody else goes to New Orleans. But still, the second biggest... No, okay, that's the worst fact of the day.
That's the worst one? Okay.
Literally, the second best.
Okay.
It's home to the largest beer-producing plant in the nation.
What beer company?
Anheuser-Busch.
What's Anheuser-Busch?
They make Busch, first off.
Okay.
I think they make a bunch of other ones. I'm pretty sure they own the Canadian beers now, too, like Labatt Blue.
Good.
So that's number 2.
Number 2. Wow, okay, we got another one?
The number 1 fact of St. Louis of the day is that St. Louis is known to consume the most barbecue sauce per capita than any other American city. Boom!
Damn, I want to go to freaking St. Louis.
Yeah, exactly. The most barbecue per person in the United States of America.
Barbecue? Beer.
Not Texas.
No.
Not Texas.
Not Texas?
Not Texas.
Okay.
St. Louis has more barbecue sauce than Texas per capita.
So, barbecue, beer, and Mardi Gras. Can we combine all 3?
Mardi Gras.
Excellent. You've got a new thing, St. Louis. We're coming for Mardi Gras.
Well, Gus, maybe you want to go ahead and give them, once again, all the info about the podcast, and I'm just going to move out of the way. I'm going to leave the room.
That's for the best. Twitter, namepending_pod. Email, namependingwastaken@gmail.com. So, subscribe to the podcast. You're already subscribed, obviously. But if you haven't, subscribe. Rate us on iTunes, because that literally makes us that much more important and makes us feel good. Even if you rate us a 2-star, I will feel better about life.
I would appreciate it if you gave different stars for each star. So, Gus, probably a 1 star.
Ouch.
I don't know, do they have a half stars?
Ouch.
And maybe a 5.5 out of 5?
Okay.
For Jack?
So combined, we're a 3-star?
No. We're a 5.5 star because everybody knows it's Jack's show.
Alright. Let's get into the rapid fire Gus's rapid fire questions. This week about driver license pending.
So we're getting into the podcast now.
We're getting into the podcast. Let's go.
All right. So going back to the first podcast we ever did.
Yeah.
We kept this under 5 minutes once again.
Nice.
Boom.
All right, here's Gus's favorite part of the whole podcast. It's about him asking Jack questions. In rapid fire format, we call it Gus's 2-minute rapid fire questions.
I don't like this.
I know you don't. That's why it's better for me.
I didn't get any notes this week.
I don't want to give you notes in rapid fire.
Okay.
Perfect. Let's do it. So, time frame. We're at the 5:45 mark. In about 5 seconds, we're going to go at that point. Here we go. Road trip. Straight through or stops?
Always stops.
Always stops?
Always stops. Why would you not want to see all the things along the way to where you're going?
Because you want to get to the place you want to get to.
Well, then fly or teleport.
Teleport, eh? Okay,
yes,
sorry.
Fly or teleport.
I'm not supposed to be arguing your rapid fire questions.
Okay, that's good.
Muscle car or a luxury car?
Luxury car. Nobody should have muscle cars. Muscle cars are stupid.
Okay, so that leads into my next one. Would you add modifications to your car?
No, never. Especially, I personally own a Honda Civic. I would never take this Honda Civic and put lights on it or make it lower because it's a Honda Civic. I realize it's not an expensive car. So why would I spend tens of thousands of dollars putting stuff on my not expensive car? Why wouldn't I just take that money and buy a better car?
I totally agree with you, Jack. Worst thing someone could do on the road?
I don't know. Like, lie down on it?
No, I mean, what's the worst thing someone could do while driving?
Not drive? I don't know. There's too many things.
Moving on. Angriest you've ever been while driving?
Angriest I've ever been while driving. I'm angry all the time when I'm driving. So, all the time would be the answer.
Perfect. Electric cars. Would you ever buy one?
Yes. Yes, that sounds like a great idea.
Okay. Self-driving cars. Innovation or one step closer to Terminator?
I'm going to say a little bit of both, probably. I like the idea of me not having to do anything, but I feel like it's also going to bring along the Terminator.
Excellent. Skynet is definitely listening. All right, last question. Worst car ever, and why is it the PT Cruiser?
It's the PT Cruiser because it is literally the ugliest car ever built, and it's not a very good car. It's just terrible. PT Cruiser all the way.
Excellent. That's your rapid-fire questions for the week. Let's move on to the rant. Okay, I'm really excited about this, guys. I'm so excited. I am literally just going to sit here and listen with the rest of you. I might make my own little points, but I just want to enjoy this podcast today.
So I just want, for all the listeners here, I want you to know that this is the first time in these rants that I have actually made some notes for myself. Usually Gus makes me some notes and just kind of hands them to me either during or, right before the podcast starts. But this time we actually sat down and did some brainstorming on this because we realized that if you just let me go off for a while, this would turn bad.
It would turn very bad. We would actually spend 1 point an entire podcast.
So this rant is brought to you by Jack. Jack, me. So we're going to go through all of the things that I hate about you drivers. I don't know if this applies to St. Louis. I've never driven in St. Louis. But in Canada, these are some of the driving problems that we have.
Am I included on this list?
Yes. Most of these things apply to you. I'm not going to say all of them, but having driven with you on many occasions and no longer will allow you to drive when I'm in the car, yes, quite a few of these apply to you.
All right, hit me up. What do you got?
So I got limited by Gus to 7 different things, just so that we don't have this, like a 3-hour podcast, which we've already complained to you guys about. Yeah. So, point number 1, change of speeds while driving on the highway. So that would be AKA not using your cruise control.
I'm angry already.
So my problem with it, you know what? There's a speed limit, and normal drivers don't follow that speed limit. We all kind of have, a little gray area in there, but that's not what I'm complaining about. So if the speed limit is 80 kilometers, yes, kilometers for our American friends, kilometers. If the speed limit's 80 kilometers, I'm not saying that you can only that you have to drive over 80 kilometers. What I am saying is if you drive 90 and then drive 70 and then 90 and then 70, I'm going to shove my car up the back of your bleeping car. It makes no sense. Like I said, again, I drive a little faster. But I understand the people that drive less. I understand. I get it. You're 100 years old. You don't want to drive 90? No problem. However, we have invented this amazing thing. And this is going to be all throughout this conversation. It's going to be about the fact that we've advanced cars. We don't have to crank them anymore. We don't have to have a horse attached to it. We've come with new things in car manufacturing. So we have this amazing thing called cruise control. If you can't handle, like if your foot doesn't work correctly and you can't hold the speed, turn the cruise control on. It's the highway. If everyone just had their cruise control on, there would be no accidents. Because we'd all be going a speed. Not, again, I've literally driven behind somebody who goes 100, back down to 70, 100, back down to 70. Turn your cruise control on.
I want to jump in here. I hate this more than probably anything else you're going to bring up. When I go to pass somebody, because I do like to drive fast, and I don't like it when you drive slow. But that's beyond the point.
But you gotta give people... You can't make people break the law. That's not what we're doing on this podcast.
Well, I'm going to at some point make you break the law, but that's beyond the point. If I go to pass you because you're going, let's say, 70, and I want to go 80, if I go to pass you, and then, I've decided to speed up a little bit to 80 kilometers.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even talk about the whole passing. If you see me passing you, you don't need to speed up. Like, you don't need to feel bad that you were driving too slow.
Exactly. I passed you. That's the point. We've solved the problem. You were holding me back. We've solved the problem by letting me pass you. You're just making the problem much worse by trying to speed up at this point. All right. Sorry, Jack.
No, so let's go to point number 2. This one's going to be a little more contentious. Not going to be a fan. Gus is not going to be a fan of this one.
I'm 100% against this.
I understand. However, it goes back to my fact again. So, we invented cars.
Yep.
We had horses first, right?
Yeah,
then we had crank cars. And then we invented those. Yeah. The old Ford. You had to crank the back of them. At least that's what I saw in movies.
Okay. That's
all. So I feel like it's definitely a fact. Okay. But so then we had manual cars, right? Yeah. But you had to change the gears on them.
I still have a manual car.
Yeah. However, then we invented cars that change the gears for you. It's this amazing thing where it changes the gears for you.
Yeah, very convenient. Though, manual cars are cheaper.
Because they're worse. That's why they're cheaper. A horse is cheaper than a car, too.
but I can control the acceleration in my car.
I just feel like this is going to go back to the fact that just put the cruise control on. Stop. You're doing too much driving. Just do less when you're driving. Do less, right? Let it do it for you, and then you'll be good. It's like airplanes. They had airplanes with propellers on them, right? And then we said, hey, we got this great idea. Let's make them with jet engines. Now, why the hell would I fly on a propeller plane now that they have jet engines?
Jack, did you have a bad experience with propeller airplanes?
Yes. I have, throughout my life, 34 years of life, have managed to not get on a propeller plane up until about a year and a half ago, where the airport actually tricked me into getting on a propeller plane. So I checked the planes before I booked my planes to make sure they're jet engine planes, so that I'm not flying in a wooden box. And then they changed it at the last second, and basically I had to get back to where I was going. So I had to get on the propeller, and it was just exactly as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah. It's much louder. It shakes more. Like, why would anyone get on these? Why would anyone make these?
Again, I think it's cheaper. I don't quote
Again, I don't want a cheaper plane. I want the most expensive plane they can make, right? Why would I want a cheaper plane?
All right, we've digressed way off our subject.
But manual versus automatic. Manual sucks. It was